Pierre Poilievre says Justin didn't ruin Canada alone. Carbon tax Carney and Christia were right by his side as he doubled housing costs and hiked the tax on gas, heat, and groceries. The next Liberal leader will be just like Justin. Well, there's no evidence that they are in any way different, right? Like Carney has been advising Trudeau since 2020. Christia Freeland was absolutely loyal and absolutely giddy and thrilled to enact to subject Canada to all of Trudeau's policies right up until the moment when he betrayed her, right? So why would anybody believe that they're going to be different, right? They're progressives. Trudeau's a progressive. They're all progressives. They all have radical leftist ideas on everything, economics, culture, everything. I don't think Canadians are going to be fooled. Let's take a look.
Carbon tax Carney and carbon tax Christia are just like Justin. Christia Freeland has been in charge of the budget for the last 4 years. How's the economy been doing? I don't think I need to say anything more about that. But the other guy, carbon tax Carney, here's a guy, he's a government bureaucrat, then a government banker, and now he spent the last few years as a glorified lobbyist for corporate welfare bums, going around trying to get grants and subsidies and handouts from the taxpayer for the wealthiest corporations in the world. And by the way, he has the most radical policy agenda. He believes the carbon tax is too low. He has said it on the record. He thinks the carbon tax is too low and needs to go even higher than Trudeau has already placed it. He will be the voice for the billionaire, globalist elite that have been impoverishing the working class around the world for the last several decades. He is the golden boy of the World Economic Forum, and he will be a disaster if he ever gets anywhere close to power. And we know that because he has been Justin Trudeau's personal economic advisor. He is the chair of Trudeau's Economic Growth Council, even to this day. Google it. It's on the Liberal Party website. So if you think that Justin Trudeau has done a bad job on the economy, you know who's been pulling his strings? Carbon tax Carney. They're both just like Justin, and that's why we need a carbon tax election to fire them all and bring home a common sense conservative government.
Yeah, the makeover of these people in the Liberal Party, I just can't see it working, especially with, it's not just Carney, it's Freeland too. They just have this smugness and this elitism that just oozes off them, right? It's really difficult to imagine that they actually care about anybody other than themselves. So I don't see it, you know? As I said, I am cautiously optimistic about Pierre Poilievre. I'm going to vote for the Conservative Party, obviously. I think there might be, for those of the most cynical among us, right? Who just everybody's compromised, it just black pills all around. For those that are the most cynical amongst us, right? There may really be a Trump effect happening here, that Trump is showing the way. One thing that Pierre learned from Trump is that you don't just have to take it from a biased narrative media, a media that exists to simply frame you in a negative light because they're left wing, their funding, their subsidies come from the left. That's who they want. They're left wing anyway, so they've been trained to just simply find anything that feels not progressive as somehow, dirty or bad or wrong somehow, just deeply unappealing, deeply unfashionable. I think he learned from Trump, you don't have to take it, you can call them out, as he did with the apple eating video, where you can see the guy didn't even have a case. I mean, it was just purely narrative, just purely framing. That was the purpose, not to inform the people who would watch the interview, but to manipulate them. I think that's been a very positive thing. I think that's something that Western politicians have learned. Hey, you can fight back. You don't have to just take it. They're never going to like you anyway. So at least stand up for yourself and expose them. Expose them as propagandists, right? They ain't ready for it, and they ain't that smart. Will we see a Trump effect? Because Trump came out of the gate roaring, right? He proved on that first day. He wanted to prove to everybody that he meant what he said on the campaign trail. The things he said he wanted to do, he was going to do. He meant it. It wasn't just a bunch of empty promises. He did that on his first day. So will there be a Trump effect with politicians like Pierre Poilievre who might take inspiration from that and say, yeah, I don't just have to be a politician, right? I can show some bravery and some courage and some integrity. I'm not saying that he didn't have those things before, right? But it's an example that's been set for the Western world, for sane people in the Western world, for sane politicians, for the good ones. You know, it's an example that's been set. Will that be part of the Trump effect? Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribing really helps me out. I thank you for that. I will see you next time.